for years. Oh dear, is that okay?
Oh, you're good.
I'm being recorded. Okay, very good. So let me see. Some of you might know about Communities First. We've been doing public forums for several years now. We started in 2017, and we want to keep our quality of life in the Sewickley Valley that, you know, is also including our environmental resources. So we already have an existing air monitoring system. We would like to enhance it with this grant. Right now, we have a ramp monitor that we got in 2018 from CMU that stands for real-time accessible monitoring. And there is a network throughout the greater Pittsburgh area. You can see on this chart that there already are Allegheny County Health Network air monitors around here. The red labels are where they're located. But
we can't see your screen.
Oh, I thought you could.
No, you can't.
I mean, you
I'm
so you have to hit screen share.
Oh, I have to hit something. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Okay.
On the bottom of the screen will say screen share.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. More. And now I can go to, do I go under view?
Yeah, you just go ahead and click whatever you want us to view and then go ahead and hit share.
Okay. I'm hitting it now. Oh, share. Got it. Thank you so much. Okay. I went through a rehearsal with someone, but no, I don't think it's letting me do it. I don't see anything on my screen here. Okay, more. I'm getting more.
You have what you need open?
Yeah.
Okay, then it should, once you hit share, it should share.
Yeah.
It'll give you some options, and then you have to click on it.
Okay, I'm on the screen, but it's just a PowerPoint presentation, so I'm hitting share.
Do you need it, Gail, to go forward, or could you go?
I don't need it, no, and I'd be glad to give it another time if that helps, but I can certainly describe it as well. I hate to slow you down. Okay, so there already are air monitors for the Allegheny County Health Department. But we have a community air monitoring system using purple air monitors, and they're being hosted by different people just as volunteers throughout the area. If you can look at purpleair.com and go to the map, find our area, you'll see that we have about 6 of them right in this vicinity. And then throughout the greater Pittsburgh area, people have been installing them. So we have a pretty good coverage right here, but then the air is going to flow in from different places. They have a great chart down in Pittsburgh with the Create Lab from CMU, and that website is called pghplume.org. And it's very incredible. It shows the wind direction. And we sometimes get things all the way from the Mon Valley here. Winds predominantly blow northeast, but we are going to also be getting winds that come down river. We have hills and valleys here. So we're concerned about all of our surrounding areas. Let me see. So, I was going to show you, if you do go look at Purple Air and look at it different times of the day, you'll see that I think right now we're green. If it's not quite as good, it's going to show yellow. There are days where it's red, and usually when it's red, it's all the way down the Ohio River. And when I see that, I want to ask somebody what is going on. We're part of the Breathe Network, which is who is applying for the grant, the Breathe Project. And I'll be sending Patrick a letter explaining, you know, that we would like your support in promoting the program. And it's written, it's being sent by the Breathe Project. We're able to to collaborate with all the different community organizations in this area, along with bigger organizations that have access to, much greater resources than us. But, and we do have experts that we can say, hey, what's going on, in this area today, and the Allegheny Health Department sends notices as well. But the community air monitors, you will see things in real time. Whereas you see an average of the air quality when you hear about the air monitors from the Allegheny Health Department. There was an emergency in the Mon Valley in 2018, explosion at the Clairton Coke plant. And really the residents were on it before the Allegheny Health Department was. So we want to be able to give those kind of real-time alerts to our residents.
Bill, what are you asking? This is Barbara Carrier,
Oh, hi,
and
Barb.
I have one of those monitors.
You do. Yes. Mhm.
I do, and I check it all the time. This morning it was not so good.
It was bad.
Yes, it was bad this morning. What are you asking specifically for COG to do?
Yeah, thank you. Well, just to commit to promoting our program and supporting it, helping us get the word out to the public. And that is a very general statement, I know, but I realize you're made up of 15 different councils. So each council can take that to the level of support that they deem fit. And we'll try to work with the individual councils or council people to tell them about it. I will be sending the letter, and hopefully that's a little clearer then, but that's basically a general request. Even if we do not get this grant, we'd certainly like to partner with the councils in some.
Do you need a letter of, excuse me, Kat, do you need a letter of support from us?
Yes, but it's actually, I have the letter that Matt Mihalik from the Breathe Project drafted. So it has a description of the grant, and the paragraph I added in was that as a COG, you would help us promote the program to residents and support it,
And you will send that to Patrick, I assume, so that he can disperse it to the communities. And I think we all need to vote on this to support it, just to make sure everybody is together on it.
Right.
So if you send it to Patrick, we can get it out before the next meeting, and then again, revisit this issue and vote maybe to support you and in ways, especially for the grant,
Yeah.
and get information out. So I would like to thank you for all your work. I know, I have to say, Gail came to my house in the middle of snowstorm and to get the monitor, the bugs out of the monitor. So she's very devoted, and I thank you for all your work that you do in getting it out. And so if you could get that information to us, are there any questions for Gail from our members?
Do you supply the monitors or what?
It can work both ways. We've gotten grants. We've had people voluntarily, buying them themselves, but especially with a grant, we could provide more of them. Frankly, if they're close to each other, that kind of covers it. But if it would make people more aware, then we would want them to host them. And if we have,
Do you have any in Leetsdale?
no, the closest one we have is Leet Township, but Leetsdale would be an excellent place to have one.
Okay.
Yeah, I could put it in my yard, but I
It-
just didn't know.
I should say it's very small. It's very small. I just have it off of my porch, and I overlook the Ohio River Valley. So
Mhm.
that's why I have one. I have a monitor.
Yeah, you're right across from the old Shenango. Right?
Not quite that far.
No,
No.
no.
Oh,
that's
that's
more
right.
Ben
you're Ben
Avon.
Avon.
Yeah, that's Ben Avon. I'm
Yeah.
up
Or I mean, you're
Glen Osborne.
Glen Osborne. I'm
I'm up
sorry.
Sycamore Road. You're fine.
Okay.
Gail,
I know
this
where
is,
you're
hi,
at.
Gail, this is Marty McDaniel. For you, do you find with, you said maybe you had 6 in the area, is it, they all read about the same, or is there, are there any significant differences, or?
once I saw one turn red and leap, and I got a little concerned about the Buncher Industrial Park. But that can happen if someone has a wood burning stove next door.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
only when you see a broader area, and that's why we like to have more. And it's great that we can tie in all the way down the river. It was good to have one at Barbara's location because she's at a higher elevation. And so we try to, we're taking that into consideration as well. We also have VOC monitors, just a couple that monitor volatile organic compounds. And, you know, it can become very extensive and, you know, we'd like to do that. Mostly as a layperson, I would just like someone to get back to me and say, hey, this is what's going on. This is what you have to watch out for, and then be able to communicate that to the public.
So Gail, would you give all that information to Patrick so that we can give it out to our community members?
Oh, your community members as well?
Well, we could take it back to our communities. I
Oh,
meant
That's wonderful.
COG as a community.
Certainly, and I do have to apologize because we did not get the letter of support templates until very recently. And we request that you could let us know by this Friday or at the latest next Tuesday. So I'll send that immediately to Patrick, and I hope that'll work
Ouch.
out.
We'll see what we can do.
We just had our meeting, so.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you, Gail. We appreciate very much.
Thank
you
you
wanna-
so much. Can I still stick around
Yeah.
here? Okay.
Sure, you're welcome to stick around. You're always welcome to stick around.
Thank you. Okay. Bye.
Okay, next on our agenda is Patrick. Do you want to make any comments on this? And
Yeah. So really, the only thing out of the ordinary you might see in the unpaid bills is we have registration for the ALOM conference in April. So I registered for that, and also a $50 charge for a recycling sign. So we ate that cost for the sign for Swickley Borough for being able to host our glass recycling dumpster. So Bellevue Borough was kind enough to produce that sign in their public works shop. So
oh, great.
really nice asset to have in the area.
Yes.
So other than that, business as usual. Have the minutes there. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Does anybody have any questions? I'll open it up for discussion if anybody has any questions.
We're gonna have the glass recycling starting what, Saturday or?
It's
Uh,
already
it's
started.
already
Started
started.
already, okay.
Mhm.
And I'll give a little update on that later on.
Okay,
too.
that's on,
Yeah.
okay, good.
Okay, so we need to have a motion and a second so that we can vote on the bills.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second? I
I'll
can't.
second.
Thank you. Thank you. All those in favor, if you're online, raise your hand here, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's passed. President's report. I will be very brief. We've had some things going in this last month, and Patrick's going to bring up some more of it. One is the formation of the Route 65 committee. And we'll look further at a time to get together and get that started. And I would like to thank everybody who volunteered because we do have a good base. How many members are on that committee?
8 total so far.
And if anybody else would like to volunteer, I think we can still take, we're always open to names and people joining us as we go forward. Also, I would thank Patrick and Julie for their work on the glass recycling. I know you're going to do an update, but I would personally like to thank you for all your efforts on that. That's a great push for COG, and that's a good working together for the best of all the communities. And that is my report.
Thanks, Barbara. Next up, real quick, for my executive director's report. I won't talk about everything because we're going to double dip a little bit in our packet down the road. But I just want to make sure everyone's aware that on March 2nd, we were awarded an intern with the Local Government Academy's municipal intern program. So on April 13th, I'll be going down to the University of Pittsburgh for the intern fair. And this is where we get to meet and greet. I find a good fit, someone that's interested in our project and someone that we could work with. So really excited for that. This will be the 3rd time I've had an opportunity to go to this fair, and the 4th, if you want to count when I was an intern for it too. So yeah, I mean, this intern is going to be working on like a strategic planning effort we can use them to, help facilitate this Route 65 study, help promote our glass recycling initiative, and just, help around the office and really make sure people are aware of our programs and projects. That's really what this is about, is just an informational campaign. And what I'd love to do is have them visit a couple of our communities as well and get to see, some smaller towns, some bigger towns, just to get the full encapsulation of what local government is. So really excited about that project.
I
And
was a summer intern in 1971
Oh, my.
for Forest Hills Borough. The
yeah,
manager said, he's had me sit in the corner and he just says, he gave me things to do and says, keep your ears open and your mouth shut and listen to what goes on. You know what I mean?
And
It
you
was
did
just-
that very
it was-
well, I must say.
It was a
Mark.
good experience, really,
Yeah.
rather than just academic. you know?
Yeah, yeah, it always is good experience to go out and really
mhm.
do something in your
Yeah.
field.
And also, I just want to recognize our banner community. So the Allegheny League of Municipalities had their banner community ceremony a couple weeks ago. So we had 8 towns total: Avalon Borough, Bellevue Borough, Edgeworth Borough, Emsworth Borough, Killbuck Township, Leet Township, Leetsdale Borough, and Circley Borough. All got that recognition. So congratulations to you guys.
Congratulations.
Really good, achievement there. And just to sort of piggyback off that, I'll be going to the ALOM conference, which is the same organization, April 7th or 7th, 8th, and 9th. So really excited to see what they have to say, and I'll be sure to give you an update what I bring up in the meeting at our April meeting. Also, real quick, our GAS roundtable from February was pretty well attended. One thing I want to make sure you guys realize is we have a handful of licenses that are unused. We have them through May 16th. So if anyone has been thinking about GIS or maybe just getting a little bit familiar with it, this is the perfect time to do it. We're just letting you use the license. We can set up a meeting with Matt Mercurio, who's our GIS engineer technician, if you will, and just kind of get you familiar with it. So if you want to make that dive next year for a full subscription, you can be a little more familiar with that decision. So
Who's using it now, Patrick?
currently we have licenses for Glen Osborne, Bellevue, Edgeworth. The COG has 2. I think there's some, Bellevue, did I say Bellevue already?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Wickley Borough has taken us up on the offer for a free trial. So I think we have 4 licenses left. So
The license, what's the approximate cost of that?
we're working on getting some group pricing, but right now without group pricing, it's $500 a year. We're working with Esri, and I'm waiting to hear back from them on some group pricing so I can offer that to you guys, not through the COG, but through Esri at a COG, rate. So, this is just an opportunity to kind of get familiar with it before you make that investment. So if you guys are interested, anyone that's not in it already, reach out to me. We have, I think, 4 left, first come, first served. So
Patrick, does that mean that it expires on May 16th?
yeah, we have
And-
10 licenses total. So
Okay,
on May 16th, those licenses, just like you pay for Netflix, or whatever, they just,
Yeah.
so did we do that last year? Did we decide last year to do
No.
that, or?
so you swiftly you guys want to try
But
it
I mean,
out.
like the COG, when did the COG get those 10? And is the COG gonna get 10 more
No.
after May?
So this has been a COG thing for like 5 or 6 years. They would buy in bulk of 10 because that's what you had to do with Esri before. Now you can buy individual licenses.
Oh, nice.
So, we were buying 10 at a time and selling them to the towns that, we
Oh.
would sell it to Swiftly or sell it to Bellevue. I want to get out of that business. It's just way too
What,
complicated. and-
What are the people are using for, what do they report back in terms of the benefits and what are they?
I could talk
Yeah,
to that.
okay.
I did it for Glen Osborne, and now John Ordorf is doing that. He's our public works person for Glen Osborne. We did an inventory of signs. We also did an inventory of stormwater grates, and when they were cleaned out, so we had a record of that.
Mhm.
There's a handheld device so
Mhm.
that when Public Works checks on it, they could do that. We are in the process of getting our sewer lines, so that when we know when this line was televised and maybe needs to be televised again, or this, before it was all on our engineer. This way our Public Works
Right.
people can do it.
Mm.
And also, it was great looking for me at the tax records, because we found bits and pieces of property that were not on the tax records
Mm.
because they were old,
Mhm.
or some, just Some of them didn't even have an address. The
I
county asked us to go through and do addresses. It's been very useful to look at where people are when they communicate with us. Where the problem is, you could just bring it right up and it gives you all that information. It really is a powerful tool, and as any tool, it's only as good as you use it. But I will say this, for public works, I don't see
Right,
why
right.
they don't all use it.
Right.
It's a little handheld device,
Right.
and always we said, well, we never know, because we're small, we trust John Wick,
Right.
but we never know what he's done, what he's not done. And this gives us a better record,
Mhm.
even for John. He said, I think I fixed that, but I'm not sure. I could look it up on my GIS.
How
and
much
said
is
no.
that equipment? That little handheld?
I think the handheld was an app on your phone.
You can use your cell phone. So if you guys want to devote an iPad or a cell phone to it, get a nice rugged OtterBox, you can have it internally, or if your public works crew has company phones through the borough or township, you can just use that too. You just download an app. There's Survey 123 is one of those apps you can use. There's other apps too. But again, like Barbara said, this is a tool that's only as good as your investment. Need someone that's will take on the challenge to use it. Because if you don't keep it up, it's another tool.
And
So,
we've talked about this in council last night. If we change, for instance, our engineers view the GIS maps as theirs. So if we change engineers, we no longer have, the next
Yep.
engineer works with nothing. But if you have a record or a copy of that map, then if you do change engineers, you do have something it's a lot less legwork and a lot less expensive. It gets the engineering firm right up to speed because they know how to use it. They use it all the time. And I know when we did Sycamore Road, even for road work, I worked on the GIS with our engineer. So anyways, it has a lot of practical uses. It's, as I say, it's what you want to do with it. And sometimes I would say that Matt is very good at explaining it. Right now, we're going to hire him for a certain amount of time to get John up to speed. And he's willing to do anything, and he's very knowledgeable, but being an IT person, he can also explain it to you, which is so nice.
And what Matt's been doing for this like little introductory session, if you're interested, he'll take an hour of time, not charge you, it's not charging the cog.
Yeah.
And he'll just work with you, help you build a map in 30 minutes, right? Just to make you familiar with it. Just so you're not it can be intimidating, right? But just think of it like a visual Excel. Instead of plugging in numbers in a spreadsheet and looking at numbers and outputs, you're looking at photos and maps,
Yeah.
and flags and things that you can pull on a map. So yeah, it could be whatever you guys want it to be. So if you guys are interested, I'd encourage you to reach out. We'll set something up. And
I know
Yes,
Yeah.
Edgeworth did
does
trees.
Trees
Yeah.
and their sidewalks, right?
Right, they do sidewalks too. As they
Yep.
say, it's what the community needs. The map can adjust and Matt can show you how to do it.
Yep. And the last thing on my report, the recycling facility tour. So this is something I think it's really helpful. When I worked in Edgeworth, when I worked in South Jourdain, a lot of the same calls come through, can I recycle product X, a specific type of plastic? And you might not realize, what you can or what you can't or why you can't. So I set up a tour. It's gonna be May the 4th at 10 a.m. At the Neville Island Green Star facility. I'll send out the details to the group as well, but it's in the report here. It's open to anyone, residents, officials,
Yeah, it is.
borough managers, township managers. It just gives you some more depth. So when people do have those questions, you start to understand why you can't recycle a Dunkin' Donuts cup and why you can't recycle a garden hose and why certain papers are acceptable. You get to see the whole thing from the time they drop off the recycling truck with all the materials. It separates it. It's really neat. So I'd encourage anyone that's interested in that, reach out to me so I can get a head count for waste management. And it's free, it's maybe an hour.
When was that again, Patrick?
May 4th.
May 4th.
May 4th, yep. So what I'll do is I'll send an email to the group with that detail. And it's in the report too, if you
Yeah.
want to reference it there. But I encourage everyone that's interested, and I'll send this out to our managers group too, Because I think, the boots on the ground, they're gonna get these calls most often. It's really great for them
How
to take
is
that to work.
the new contract going? Are you getting good feedback on it?
So I think a lot of those same complaints are coming up, certain streets get missed, garbage pickups delayed a certain day or two. But what I've noticed, and I can't testify for what happened in the past, but just from, observing the last few months, they're very attentive.
Yes.
They're responding quick as far as emails. You send it out, there's 2 or 3 emails right back. Hey, we're gonna be out there. And just for today, as an example, in Emsworth, one of the streets was missed. There was a mix-up. Kathy emailed me and one of the dispatchers from the different side of town, more or less.
Mhm.
The dispatcher that's assigned through them, his name's Tim. He drove up to the borough building today and checked on the road and diagnosed the issue, right? So it's like, that's really good to hear. It's really good to see. We haven't fined them yet, so that's a good thing. But again, that whole process of being able to hold them accountable is only as good as the communication from the towns to me and Waste Management.
What
So
was the issue for that? If you,
I think they just missed the street,
Yeah, they thought maybe one truck was gonna do it or something.
or it was too narrow. A lot of times like there might be someone parked on the
I
street.
should
Yeah.
report that we had that discussion when you facilitated about moving our township from the Monday to the Friday, and they said they would do a better job, and I'd say they're doing a better job. They wanted to even out. And
Yeah.
some people, I mean, they're like, you thought it was like, I did, yeah, I didn't, I said, what is the big deal, changing a day, but some people thought it was terrible or something, but they said, we got too many on Monday, that's why we're falling
Yeah.
behind, and we'd do better on Friday for you, so we did it, and they're picking it up real fast in the morning.
Oh, good.
That's funny because they changed ours from Friday to Monday.
Well, that must have been, they had the.
Oh, no,
jump-
they changed ours from Monday to Friday. Is that what they did for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they
Mhm.
did for us,
Mhm.
Monday to Friday.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, and if anything pops up with that, please let me know. That's how we get these things fixed. It's just clear communication. So that being said, that's all I have for the report.
Okay, thank you. And we'll go on to new business.
So first thing up is Mr. Michael Carvin. He's from an organization called National Car Charging. So real quick, he's going to give us a little summary about EV charging stations. I think he's been working with some community members in sustainable Sewickley, and that's how this was brought to my attention. And I thought this was just a neat little thing. So if your municipalities, parks, municipal buildings are looking to install electric vehicle charging stations, this could be a good first contact. So that being said, Mike, go ahead and take it away.
Patrick, can you hear me okay?
Hear you.
Mhm.
Okay, I had a call and I have a new computer, so I'm technically challenged as far as it comes to that. So let me try to share my screen. I have a little presentation that I put together for you guys. And Patrick, were you able to distribute the handout?
Yeah. So everyone got that in their packet.
All right.
I turn the lights off.
Paul, do you want to come join us around the table? Okay.
All right, can you guys see that?
yes.
Yes.
we're good.
Okay, I'm gonna start the show. Don't mind me because I haven't done a dog and pony show in quite a while, so bear with me. See what I mean? Delete that one.
Good
Delete that
call.
one. And I just want to start the show. Here we go. All right, so I guess everybody can see that okay, right?
Yes.
All right, my name's Michael Curvin. I'm the business development guy for National Car Charging here in Pittsburgh. Actually, I cover Pennsylvania, Ohio, and anywhere where they need a plug. So this is a presentation that ChargePoint put together, and it's called Building the New Fueling Network. As you know, for some reason, the interest in electric cars has been peaking lately. And it's mainly because of the cost of gasoline and it's driving people to look at electric cars. But what this is just a high-level overview. So I'm going to try to breeze through this as quickly as possible. And if you have any questions, you can always put them in what we call the parking lot, and we'll address those shortly. Okay. So future of mobility is electric, and we've been seeing that change over the last 20 years. Here in the city of Pittsburgh, they also have electric buses now, which is great. So in 2040, it says 60 million electric vehicles are projected to be sold, equivalent to 55% of the global light-duty vehicle market. Now, mind you, this data is from roughly 2021, so things have taken a little bit of a change over the last few months. And this is just how people are acting to curb emissions. Everybody's investing in EVs now, and a lot of fleets are shifting to electric. In the city of Pittsburgh, they just invested a considerable amount of money in installing more charging stations for the fleet vehicles for the city of Pittsburgh in the 2nd Avenue lot. So I believe they've got about 30 plugs there. So we're going to talk about the 3 modes of electric transport. And one of the big things is shared transport, like electric buses and ride sharing, driving a personal car, and also delivering goods and driving work vehicles. And of course, ChargePoint has a solution for all of those types of vehicles to move people and goods on electricity. There are a lot of what we call last mile vehicles that are being rolled out from Amazon, UPS, and FedEx, which is great because they spend a lot of time idling. And when you're idling and driving an electric vehicle, there are no emissions. So we have a bunch of different solutions to service businesses, and also a charging solution for people who like to charge at home. Let me just go back to that. Hang on a second. A lot of the ChargePoint customers use an app or either a key fob to start their charging session. So it's pretty flexible as far as being able to access a charging station. So we cover all aspects of businesses, fleets, commercial entities, retail, any place where you can manage your fueling costs, which is increasingly important, especially with the cost of electricity more than likely going up also. It's important for people who are sustainability managers and people who manage, manage the infrastructure of the building to manage the electrical load also. So we also help you to manage those assets. Any questions so far? Everybody okay?
Okay.
All right, I'll take that as a yay. So we're building a new fueling network, one parking lot and one depot at a time. An example of depot charging would be the city of Pittsburgh, where they have electric buses, where they have high-powered DC fast charging. That's an example of depot charging. Another example of a fueling network example would be a Target. When ChargePoint started out back in 2007, one of the first customers, one of the first large-scale customers was Target. And what Target found out was when they installed these charging stations, that increased what they call dwell time. In other words, if you have an electric car charging station installed at your facility, it's an amenity, and people spend more time at your facility, and that increases dwell time. That increases the time they might want to spend visiting your town or visiting a retail facility and spending more money. So ChargePoint makes it pretty easy. It's effortless as far as starting a charging session. You can scale. What I always suggest is when you're installing a charging station, make sure you have enough conduit in the ground to make it ready for future installations. These ChargePoint products are fairly sturdy. A lot of them have been around for over 10 years. And the customer service at ChargePoint, I will attest, is absolutely fantastic. I have a ChargePoint Home Flex on the side of my house, and I've had some issues with it, and they've addressed those issues within a 24-hour period. And that's just coming from a home user. So as you can see, this young lady here is holding her phone up to a ChargePoint station. The phone is using what we call near field communication. A lot of people are using their phones to pay for stuff at Sheets, where you can just tap and pay, or if you're renting a movie from Redbox, you can tap and pay. It's as easy as using those two applications to start a charging session with a mobile application. Once again, you can scale, and that's the make ready process that I was talking about. A lot of Fortune 50 companies are using ChargePoint. A lot of my customers here in Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh and the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center have just deployed a significant number of level 2 charging points in the city of Pittsburgh at both of those locations. And ChargePoint products are Energy Star certified. They're also UL certified. Somebody have a question?
How much does it cost usually to charge those, to charge your car?
Well, it depends on who your energy provider is and what your cost per kilowatt hour is. The example I usually use, who's asking the question? I didn't catch that.
You probably can't
Right
see it,
over,
Jeff.
yeah. Right over here.
Oh, okay. On average, it is 1/3 the cost of gasoline. And if you look at the cost of gasoline versus the cost of electricity, like here where I live in New Kensington, the cost of a kilowatt hour of electricity is roughly 9 cents. So on my ChargePoint app, what I always use is the app to explain. Let me just bring that up. I know you can't see it, but hang on. Because the app keeps track of how much I've spent every single month for electric vehicle charging. So if I look at my charging activity for this month, and I haven't really been driving around that much. So for the month of March, I have $25 in electricity that I've spent.
Oh,
And I've driven 849 miles.
okay, thank you.
So I kind of doubt you could do that on gasoline nowadays, even if you drive a Prius, and that's just filling up at home. So the cost to generate electricity, depending upon where you live and who your electric provider might be, your cost and your mileage will vary. But on average, the average cost of a kilowatt hour of electricity in Pennsylvania roughly is anywhere between 9 cents to about maybe 14 cents. I'm spitballing. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, how about commercially, what do they charge?
Well,
know?
when you're in a commercial facility, like I just most recently provided a solution to Alcosan over on the North Shore of Pittsburgh, and they're concerned about their electric use, because when you're a large entity, your electric use varies based on the time of day and peak usage. So your rates are going to vary depending upon the type of building you're in and whether or not you have different rates during the time of day, because it costs the electric generating a facility more to generate more electricity when more people are using them, when more people are in the office. You follow me?
How much does a home charging station cost?
I think the question was, how much does a home charging station cost?
Yes.
It depends on what type of station you want. You can get one that is hardwired and attached. Like, let's say if you have a garage, which unfortunately I don't have, but let's just say you have a garage and you want it hardwired, you can hire an electrician to run some conduit to your panel. Or you can just have a plug installed and use what they call a mobile charger that comes with the car, or you can use one that's removable. Like, let's say you have a cabin somewhere and you want to take your charging station with you. You can have that same type of charging cable installed at your cabin if you have the correct plug installed at your cabin. So the cost will vary. If you're handy and if you know a little bit about electricity, not enough to be dangerous, you could actually do it yourself, depending upon how long you have to run the conduit from the charging station to your circuit panel. But it's always a good idea to get a qualified electrician in if you don't know what you're doing. So to answer your question, to install my charging station at the side of my house, it was $400. And the state from where my station's located to where the panel is 8 feet. But I don't feel comfortable about drilling through my wall, even though I feel comfortable about using a drill. I'd rather have somebody who's bonded to do that type of work.
Thank you.
Any other? Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think there's any other questions for now.
I have one.
Oh, go ahead,
All
Julie.
Mike, this is Julie Barnes from Sewickley. Do you work with Duquesne Light Company for their program that they offer? Like,
I've been working with Suzanne Waters, if you know Suzanne Waters, and also Trish Hooper over there at the Sewickley Y. I do have contacts at Duquesne Light, and I do know that they are planning on rolling out some kind of program to assist with infrastructure in April. Matt McDonald is my contact there at Duquesne Light, and also Sarah Alexak.
Okay, so I have been speaking with Suzanne about it as well, but she gave me the name of someone named Ken. Is that someone from your company?
Did you say Tim?
No, Ken, like Kenneth. K-E-N.
Ken, I do not know.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been working with Suzanne and Trish Hooper, Tim Kelly, Brennan, I can't pronounce his last name, but Brennan Hidzik. A couple other folks, but
Okay.
yeah.
I'm sorry, Mike. This person was from Allegheny City Electric, and they are the contractor. So did they actually install your product?
I have not had a conversation with them, but I did see a quote that was generated, so I have to get with Trish and discuss a couple of things.
Okay, I'm just
I don't know that. So.
Allegheny City Contractor is an electrical contractor.
Okay,
Separate from
okay.
Duquesne Light, you're separate from everybody
There's a
else.
lot, so there's a lot of people involved in this process. It's like there's the electricity provider, and then the provider of the product, and then the installation
The
people.
electricians, yeah.
Yeah,
Duquesne
yeah.
Light's not permitted under National Electrical Code to install equipment
Okay,
because they would compete directly with electricians.
right, okay, okay.
And believe it or not, the utility doesn't have to follow the National Electrical Code. Yeah, it's a little scary.
Okay, thanks, Mike. That helps me.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's finish this up. I was talking about the customer support, which is great. They're available 24/7 in multiple languages. And here's the value proposition from ChargePoint. We've got different ways to reduce expenses and also generate direct and indirect income. If you're a home user, with the app and also the dashboard that you can see with your desktop or laptop application, you can track your usage. You can also set your car to charge during time of use hours, like if you have off-peak hours. And you can also achieve sustainability goals, like if you're a homeowners association, for example. If you're a fleet, pretty much the same thing. Where you can meet your government mandates and regulations if you're trying to meet LEED certification. You can also reduce your operating expenses because it costs a lot less to drive on electricity than it does on gasoline. Once again, you can achieve your sustainability goals, manage those expenses, and also you can manage the power with an application within the ChargePoint dashboard that lets you meter out power in a more equitable way, especially when the cost of electricity is higher during peak usage time. Also, if you're a workplace, it helps you to attract talent because a lot of people want to work at places where they can charge their vehicles because it helps them to save on gas, helps them to save on electricity, and also gives the workplace pretty good credibility. Also with the sustainability goals, and you can also charge for charging if you would like. That's a access control that you can grant to employees or people who are visiting your property.
Okay, any other questions?
I had one question.
Sure.
How do you, how do you handle like multifamily dwellings where you would have a number of people in a building and maybe they have a common garage? And do they have to have separate meters, or how does that work?
There are a couple of different ways of going about it, but for multi-family units, we call them MDUs, multiple dwelling units. There's a product that we usually suggest that is not as large as a commercial station, but you have access control through a key fob or using the app. And you get billed separately for that electricity because there is, through the ChargePoint dashboard, it monitors use for each individual station. And you usually have an agreement with your homeowners association where ChargePoint processes those payments. So the tenant would pay ChargePoint, and then ChargePoint, of course, gets a little fee for processing the payment back to the homeowners association. So that way, it provides access control, so nobody can just pull up and plug in. You actually have to start your charging session with a key fob. That's one solution for multifamily units. The other solution would be I'm working with a customer in Mount Lebanon where he's moving to a condo and they have a shared parking garage, but they have valet parking. So that's another solution that I can get into in greater length, maybe offline.
I think it's helpful.
Okay, if there's any other questions?
I have some questions.
Sure.
Mike, this is Julie again from Sewickley. Do you know if there's an
Hey, Julie.
average, if there's like an average time that a vehicle would stay in a parking spot? Like, for example, if we're going to put it in the municipal lot, like, is it on average? Do you have any idea of on average how long the car would stay there?
Julie, if you send me your information, I can put you in touch with a couple of my customers who have these stations in municipal lots. I have a customer in the borough of Indiana who's had that installed for a couple of years. Also, O'Hara Township at what used to be called Squaw Valley Park, and also the Lorian West Community Center. They could probably give you better numbers on average dwell time because I don't have access to their dashboard. Also, Julie, Alex Backus, if you know Alex.
No, I don't.
Suzanne Waters is friends with Alex's wife, and Alex has a charging station in the commercial environment at the Tech Forge in Lawrenceville. And also right next door to Tech Forge, there's an apartment building, the Foundry at 41st. I could probably put you in touch with the apartment manager there, and they could probably give you more information on those stations. And also at Bakery Square, at Bakery Living, if you're familiar with where Bakery Square is, they've installed a charging station. That's been up for probably about 3 years now. So they could, if you send me your contact information, I could put you in touch with all those people, and they could reach out to you with feedback on how those have been working for them.
Okay, yeah, we should probably just have a separate conversation because I have a bunch of questions, but they're pretty specific. Okay, thank you.
All right. Sounds great. Thank you.
All right.
All right, we're almost done with the slides here, okay? So here's my contact information. You can feel free to call me. You can call me anything, but just don't call me late for dinner. Thank you very much. Don't forget to tip your waiter.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll send the contact information out to the group. So if you guys want to reach out to Michael and have a conversation, feel free to do so. And that's the whole goal here, is just to bring new
Yeah.
ideas. And if you guys want to take it from there, take it from there.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Michael.
Patrick.
Patrick,
Thank you,
I did have a couple more slides. I just want to breeze through them so you guys can just see a couple of things. This
wait,
is just an
there's more.
example.
Okay.
But wait, there's more. This is an example of the charge point spots. This is accurate as of 2020. They've increased since then. This is a picture of the unit that I have on the side of my house. This is a charge point Home Flex. The stations that are installed for the city of Pittsburgh at the 2nd Avenue lot look similar to this, but they have RFID access, similar to, using a key fob like a Sheets or a Giant Eagle key fob. It's really small, really unobtrusive, and it works really well. There's for the multifamily unit, that was the CPF 25 that's on the side of this building right here, that little orange thing. Is an example of the CT 4000, which you've probably seen around. You've seen those around retail.
May I ask you a question? I have
Sure.
an EV vehicle, but it's a Tesla. So, and I have charging at home, but I was told if I went to another charger, I have to get an adapter. Would I have to do that for your charging?
I have a Tesla also, and I have this device here, the ChargePoint Home Flex, and it uses what we call a J1772 connector on the end.
Okay.
And what you do is you take your J1772 Tesla adapter and it adapts it to the Tesla connector.
Okay, thank you.
It only costs $3,000.
Okay, thank you very much. It was very interesting.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So Patrick, do you want to go on to the second
Yep.
in new business?
Yeah, so real quick, Hayesville and Glenfield Borough have been looking for a more community-centric policing model pretty much since I was hired here, probably way before then too. But Sewickley Borough and Chief David Mazza, it looks like they're going to be offering a quote for services pretty much based on the same model that Glenn Osborne has been working with Sewickley Borough. And Chief Mazza has identified a grant opportunity. It's coming up pretty quick. And one of the requirements was a resolution needs to be passed by all 3 municipalities. So Sewickley Borough, Hayesville, and Glenfield. I got a template out to the group. I think Sewickley Borough passed it last
did.
week. Hayesville and Glenfield have meetings, I think, this week. So
Hayesville was last night.
So-
Glenfield
No.
Road.
We're actually next week.
next week.
Oh,
Next
sorry.
week, yeah, no problem.
So one of the things, part of the grant is just letters of support. And more or less, I was just seeking if the board would give me the green light to just write up a quick brief letter for this grant. I can get it to Chief Mazza and they can continue on the application process. And Amy's on the call here. Amy, if you wanted to sort of take it away and highlight anything that I might have missed.
Sure. I mean, this is a topic I think we've all talked about many, many times before. The issue being 65, the light where kind of we all intersect, Hayesville and Glen Osborne. We continue to have a lot of accidents there, and we believe a lot of it's caused from people really speeding, not having a steady police presence along 65, and so that we're hopeful with maybe having a more local presence that we may be able to slow some of those folks down, especially with our residents who live on the other side of the tracks and have to cross traffic, or residents turning up onto Beaver and that have to cross traffic as well. So again, we've met multiple times on this topic. It makes sense to all of us, I think, and certainly with Swickley Police as well. So we're such a small municipality that the cost of it is significant for our budget, but we were really enthusiastic about doing it and improving that safety. So we're really hopeful this will work out, and the grant, especially because it's multiple municipality that will be able to work together and find the funding for it.
I thank you, Amy.
Absolutely.
So I would need a vote. Anybody would like to make the motion to support this project?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Raise your hand if you're on Zoom.
Aye.
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 Thank you. It looks like it's passed, Patrick. You have what you need.
Great. I'll put that letter together and I'll have Barbara sign off on it, and we'll get that probably by the end of the week.
Okay.
All right, last up for new business is Local Government Academy. They were seeking some support through what's called the Leadership Circle. So it's something that it's a new program that they started last year, and more or less there's rumblings and rumors that LGA might be getting a reduction in funding for the county, and that's a big chunk of their overall budget, and then helps them put on the newly elected officials course, the municipal intern program. Nothing set in stone yet, but I think they're just preparing for if that might be the case. So this Leadership Circle is a revenue generator, but it also is sort of a membership that gets you access to trainings at a discount, gets you recognized on their website, and just helps invest in that organization that's really here for us as local government. So I included the little pamphlet in the packet here, and I was going to recommend we throw our hat in there as $100 bronze level, if that's okay with the board, just to show our support and sort of thank them, for their past support and the internships that we've gotten in the past, and for the one we got this year too. So
I should say that when I first was elected, I took their courses, and it was very helpful and very needed, I think, for newly elected officials. I'll take a motion to support the Local Government Leadership Academy with a $100 donation. Is there anybody willing to make that motion?
So moved.
Okay, a second?
I second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, there you go, Patrick.
great.
Do they get RAD money, or is it just a county fund?
I don't know if they get rad, but the county is from what I hear, the county supports both ALOM and LGA at a pretty high level, and I think there might be some politics and the reasoning for why they might not be fully supporting. It hasn't happened yet, so
Yeah.
again, this is just something that
But ALOM isn't offering a course like the newly elected officials course. That's like invaluable for people who are new to local government. For me, I felt like I absolutely needed that.
Yeah, I do agree.
So if I can make a suggestion, maybe what we do as well is send a COG letter to support them, since, we don't know about the cut, but it's probably something we could just write a support letter and say, we just, we're bronze members now, and we also would like the county to continue to support them in the future.
Yeah.
We want to that to whoever our different county council reps are. I mean, we have several, right?
Right, yeah.
Two
I
or
think it
three.
would
One
make
of them
sense
went
to
to the LGA.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
we were there with
Right.
her.
individual boards, I think I've seen a handful of municipalities that have also been supporters of this leadership circle. So I'll definitely encourage that too. If I can give you this flyer, if you want to bring it to your boards and take it from there.
Great, great, thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is the glass recycling update.
Yep. So really big news. Saturday, we got our glass dumpster. So
Yeah,
So it was
right.
delivered by Michael Brothers, Julie and Donna from Swickley Borough, and I got a chance to meet the delivery driver when he dropped it off. From what I hear, it's been used pretty well so far. I plan on swinging by on the way home, but it's open for all 15 QB members. This is the trial run, the pilot program, right? So these first 3 months, just to sort of get everyone familiar with it, I encourage you to promote it in your communities. We've been putting information on our website and our Facebook page as well. So, really want to see it get filled up as soon as possible and get used as much as possible. Part two to that is, this is part of a long-term goal to have 2 stops more or less.
Yes.
That give access to everyone in the QB cog, and that way no one has to drive more than 5 or 10 minutes. And Avalon Borough on February 22nd gave their letter recommending that they be listed as that second option. I would also encourage others, if they're interested too, we could consider it, but we know at least have a second one. Once this 3-month period comes up, we can sort of gauge how many pools we're going to have. I think we'll get a better number after this experience here in Sewickley. But part of that process is making this a shared model that sort of makes it more sustainable, not only for this year, but for many years to come. So in your packets, you're going to see calculations, and these calculations been in the packet for a while, but they were based on $400 per pool quote, which was given to us, a year ago, more or less. It was reduced down to $270 through Michael Brothers. So these costs have gone down, where no communities will be paying more than $60 and no one's paying less than $15.
So I was trying to explain this to everybody the other night. I said, we're gonna have to, every municipality is gonna have to vote to get in on, in or out, right, at a certain point.
Yeah. I mean,
Right, that's what I said, yeah. Okay.
This is really solely
This is
based on
just the COG
cooperation.
is gonna be underwriting this for the next 3 months, and then we're gonna have some statistics and say, here's probably what it's gonna cost you, and
This gives us that ballpark figure off the bat, and what I'm proposing, and this is again all based on what we've done in the past for these pop-up events and sort of the usage rates and what they expect. But I've had a lot of questions about, like, what if only 10 out of the 15 towns join? I don't want to prepare for, I don't want to give any incentive for people not to join.
Yeah.
But what I've been saying on these calls and these emails that I've received is, we can give you these quotes, right? And no one's going to pay more than like $600 a year on these quotes over the course of a year. And this is going to be even reduced more because we're already halfway through the year by the time that 3 months is up.
Mhm.
But, we're bankrolling the first 3 months, and I recommend that the COG could support that if there's, let's say, 28 pools a year instead of 26, or 13 out of the 15 towns join. We can support that. But I don't want to give any incentive for, town A or B to say, well, it's already there and it's not going anywhere, so let's not pay her $20 a month or whatever the case might be. So, this really depends on everyone throwing in, or else it's going to go away. So, hopefully that answers some of the holes that were there and these questions that have popped up.
interesting when you talk to people, like some people, this is just kind of comments, but some people like hardly use any glass or something. That's what they say. They go, I hardly have any glass. I would never drive somewhere with, and then other people like, oh, I got all this glass. It's kind of.
I only
Huh?
can say when I was there were 3 cars there. And 2 of them were elderly, and they kept bringing glass out of their car after one
Wow,
after
That's
another.
kind of interesting.
So it is interesting, but I
Wine
think this is
bottles.
something the residents asked us when we
Yes.
no longer could recycle glass. And so now we're responding to them.
Right.
So it's up to them to respond to us. I think.
And the
it's great.
price is insanely low. I mean, if you divide the monthly price divided by the number of residents, it's like,
And this is all because it
Like
shouldn't be
nothing.
mixed in with the other stuff because it gets
One stream.
contaminated. and all
Yeah.
that, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It breaks, and it sort of makes it harder in waste management. I think
Yeah.
they're the big drivers of this, but
yeah,
I mean, last year we were paying, the towns that did participate in the pop-up events
Yeah.
were spending $750 for 5 days.
Yeah.
Not one town under this proposal
They
paid more than
used
that
to
for
say
365
it was
days.
cheaper,
So,
I don't know, it's just, like 10 or 15 years ago, they'd say, well, it was cheaper to make glass from scratch than it was to recycle glass,
Yeah.
but I don't know if that was some,
well, that may be
Urban
true, but
legend
then
or
there's
something.
so much glass.
right.
This is just a way to get rid of the glass by
Right.
reusing it.
It's
Why
not
put it
going
in a
to landfill, right?
dumpster?
Right.
Why
Right,
put it
yeah.
in a
Why bury it?
landfill?
Yeah.
Yes,
Now, in Wisconsin, they recycle their glass.
the deposits.
well, that's what they
No.
used to do in Pennsylvania.
In the
I remember
recycle.
that years ago.
Yeah.
They do it up there, so.
They'd pay us to give
it's
us.
just
for us
And
to
I
go out.
remember we
Kind
used to
of
get credit from,
equipment they have
remember that
down
old
in-
Mr.
Yeah.
Piccarilli, he was to pick up the
Yeah.
garbage, and he'd give you. credit.
But yeah, so again, I have a flyer in the packet. If you guys want to take that to your borough buildings, I've tried to stop into as many as I could
Right.
since Saturday and provide these. But if you just want to give them to your managers or pass them out to your community centers, just promoting it. I think the biggest thing is here is just spreading word of mouth, right? Making sure people and our residents are aware that it's there and making sure they know the rules. And that it's basically the easiest set of rules in the world. You don't even need to remove the labels or the lids. You can throw your whole entire jar in there with the lid on there.
Right.
It's
And-
simple as
and
that.
Patrick, one of the questions was, why doesn't the COG use their whole recycling fund that we have? And I thought you had a very good response to that.
Yeah, so I mean, one thing I want buying it from the towns because I feel like the investment in time and effort here in promoting it, if you know that you have the skin in the game, is paying that $15 or $30 a month, you're gonna promote it and it's gonna get more usage. And I don't want us to invest all of our recycling funds. This is just the first thing, right? So if we covered every single pool and spent $10,000 a year, and that's great, we could do that. But we wouldn't be able to do anything else because we get about $10,000 in this recycling
I
fund.
think also the
So-
hard to recycle, the events that happen are very important, are well attended, and a lot of times people are turned away.
So do
Well,
we pay for that?
No, that's free.
That's
So
free.
PRC,
We did.
I was gonna highlight that for the
Support
next meeting
PRC.
just because it's down the road, but July
Okay.
23rd, we have another
Right.
another hard to recycle event
Right.
at Quaker Valley High School. We'll be promoting that on our website, promoting that on our Facebook, and you guys will have that information well in advance. We just got word of that like a week ago. But yeah, so this is just the start, which I hope that we can
Yeah.
branch out and do other things. But I don't want to invest everything into this because then that's it. It's done. And
We never know what could be coming up.
Yep.
But that, we also have if that money renews over every year, right? Because when we report to the state, then we get some money back.
Yep.
Right.
So it is a revenue stream, basically, that if we should have further discussion about how we want to use it, because
I think
otherwise it's
so.
just sitting there.
I also think there's other sustainability and
Yeah,
things that we can do.
yeah, I
That
look
are
forward to
in the
that
future.
discussion.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, Patrick, is this it for the glass recycling? Any
Yep.
other comments?
Would
I
you-
have a question. I'm sorry. Hi, it's Roberta from Avalon. So if we're approved, we would start our bin in June. Is that correct, Patrick?
Yep, we're looking at a start date for that. Yep.
Oh, great.
And we can
And then
work with
I
the
also
guys. I
had a-
mean, they can drop. Yeah, Michael Brothers is really flexible. We can have it dropped off the next day if you guys, wanted
Oh,
it
wow.
June 1st or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, whenever we can. And then I did have a question about the recycling budget line item too. You don't have any plans coming down the pike to invest that money in?
Well, I mean, right now, this is our big hurdle, and I think it's been a long time coming, but we're gonna be spending probably about $2,000 or $3,000 to get this off the ground out of that recycling fund. So for this little trial run, plus that's the backdrop if we need to subsidize other pools or whatever the case might be. Right now, there's nothing set in stone, but that's what the great part is. We can start to put our heads together now. We got this out of the way to say what's next. And the world is at our feet for that. So
And
Yeah.
there are other sustainability
Yeah.
issues too that we will be probably looking at in the future so that we could use that fund for those things. too.
Yeah, like for example, yard waste.
Yeah.
We talked about collecting yard waste.
Or
Patrick,
compost.
have you thought about putting out a press release for that?
yeah, so the Herald picked up 2 stories on it.
'Cause the Herald did,
Yeah,
but I just wonder,
and the
If-
Citizen too. The
oh,
Bellevue
okay,
Citizen.
okay, that's good.
Okay.
I don't really want to go too far out of that because then we start to get
You think you're gonna get
users from
random
outside the
people?
QB
Yeah,
cog,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean,
But I did notice that, you know how PRC did their program?
There's the
I
radio.
heard that, yeah, I heard that on NPR, and I thought,
same here.
I thought, oh, wow,
That's
like,
how they
that
do it.
makes, that does generate
So people in
interest in
Webster-
general,
I
to
could reach
hear that
out.
other people are doing that. I just think it's kind of
But not
interesting,
here.
even at the risk of like other
I
people
get it.
using
I
our bin. I think it shows that like in this area, we care about that and we're working on
Yeah.
that problem. And I also felt like, I don't know, I thought, hey, we're doing that too, and we're not, no one's hearing about it,
I see what you're saying, yeah. If that's okay with the group, I'd love to promote it more. I just sort of feared a little bit about having, outsiders. But the good thing is you're having so many of these pop up in the Pittsburgh region.
Yeah.
Well, that might not be an issue because people aren't going to drive 30 minutes where they can drive 10 minutes to
Right.
closer one.
Well, I just found out that, for instance, some of Leedsdale, do you get the Herald?
Yeah, they're a
You get
same
it.
zip code. This
Okay.
area, Fleet Township is
Does not.
Fair Oaks. It's Amber zip code.
Oh.
So they don't know.
15003.
You cannot advertise in the Herald for this area down here because they don't get it.
Yeah,
It's a-
Yeah, we just did they
Yeah.
actually did it for free. We had to pay for it.
Right.
For,
yeah,
Okay.
I think Mike Victoria from the Herald, I think he saw it on the agenda for the Sewickley Borough Council meeting.
Yes, he did.
Because he emailed me about it before the meeting. And so that's how we get stories on anything that's happening in Sewickley, is he's like looking at our agenda and then emailing one of us.
Easy money.
He
I
is.
mean, it is great. I mean, because he helps us get the word out about things, but I just fear that there aren't other people seeing it.
No, yeah. If I could reach out to NPR and maybe see if we can have something like
It
that.
might be nice to do, it won't hurt.
Just WSA, like
Yeah.
send a little, something, a
Little,
little press release.
Sure.
Yeah,
And-
because the press release doesn't have to go everywhere.
Yeah,
Just pick where you want it to go.
yeah.
And again, like, I've been in touch with the managers group, but again, if you guys have your Facebook page or if one of you guys are in control of it, I have the JPEGs and the PNG images, these flyers that can produce more. So you can use them on your Facebook page. You can share our
Yeah,
Facebook
we've done
page.
that in Glen Osborne.
So,
Thank you.
That's a really easy way to get out there too.
Okay, Route 65 update.
Yep, I'll hurry up with this. So we have 8 total people who volunteered to be on the committee. So I'll go through that list. Sabrina Miller from Bellevue Borough, Barbara Carey, Glen Osborne Borough, Art Williams, Aleppo Township, Donna Kibe, Sewickley Borough, Julie Barnes, Sewickley Borough, Rick Wagner, Ben Avon, John Schwen, Edgeworth Borough, and Tavia Washington also want to be today. That's Ben Avon Borough too. So the nice mix, we have 2 managers and 6 elected
Great.
officials, so a nice
Great.
mix there. I've been reaching out to PennDOT with their Connect program, which helped fund our original study here. District 11, as well as Michael Baker International, who helped facilitate and put together the study. So I'll be meeting with Michael Baker tomorrow for lunch to sort of get a game plan as far as
Yeah.
if they have any ideas with federal funding that might be available for this, and to sort of gauge how that master plan cost might be broken down. The problem with PennDOT so far has been there's a lot of new faces, right? So this study, I think, started in 2017.
Uh-huh.
A lot of the people that got the wheels moving are no longer in District 11, they're somewhere
Ah,
else, right? So
okay.
a lot of new people are being this is being brought to their attention for the first time. So we're just starting to put the feelers out there to make those connections and start those discussions.
Great.
So-
That's kind of an
Patrick.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Because that you can like shape the narrative for those new people,
Absolutely.
you know?
And if you wouldn't mind, Patrick, setting up a meeting of the group first.
Yeah. So I'll be emailing these 8 people, maybe in the next or so. Just throwing a few dates and times. We'll just do it over Zoom right off the bat. So that way it's nice and easy to get together, be a little more flexible. Then maybe down the road, we can start meeting on a certain day, and a certain time in person or whatever. But I'll
Our
be,
mayor was interested, but is he allowed to be on it if he's not
I
like a?
would say that George would be on it. Yeah.
Yes.
have him send me
Okay, yeah,
an email.
he said
Yeah.
he's interested.
Yeah.
Okay,
He
Yeah,
would be
you
a
can
good
just have him
addition.
send me an email. So I have his contact
okay,
information. I'll get him
sure,
on the
yeah.
list.
So what all kind of decisions can we make? I mean.
First, we have to form the committee
uh,
and then go to one's plan from PennDOT is the idea, and it could go to individual communities. But the idea, I mean, I think this is going to take a while to
Oh, it
even put in
will.
our operation. So that's why we formed this committee to oversee the operation of this.
You know, when that High River Boulevard was opened back in the 30s, it was a big deal. It was, they had monuments in Emsworth and it was spectacular if you read the history about
Well,
it.
yeah, if
And
you
then
read,
it's finished up as a WPA project up down in
Oh,
our
really?
area. Yeah, it went so far, and then it kind of ran out of gas, and then they got Roosevelt, they finished it, you know. But it
Well,
was there
yeah.
was no other way to get,
Right,
it was
Just
going through
Beaver
the
Street, yeah.
back, all the little
Yeah.
towns and out and all that
Right.
stuff like that, yeah. Yeah, it was, you can see those monuments in Edge.
They
yeah.
put, that's kind of new. That Emsworth put that up not very long
No,
ago.
that was
They were-
original.
The
Those
old-
were original.
Oh, yeah.
They
those
were
original.
down by Cap Communications.
Oh, they got
Is that
moved?
where they were?
They were
Oh.
right there across
Yeah.
from each other.
Yeah,
And when they put the new bridge in, they had to widen the road a little bit. So they were gonna tear them down. And the president and council, myself, went to the Pennsylvania Historic Society, got designated as historic landmarks.
great.
Oh, that's so
And then
cool.
Yeah.
they tore them down, and that was the only place we could find it.
Relocated it.
Going back was.
Where the, yeah, now, Paul.
They're on two traffic islands. One
Like by the
is
dock
down by
stop.
where Shaftesbury
Yeah.
used to be, and the other is up where
Just
the old
so
Oldsmobile
people
dealer
could
used
get
Oh,
to be.
yeah.
So
People could get
But
to
the
work back and
state-
forth from
The
there.
state paid for those.
Yeah.
And if you look, there's two reliefs on each one that talk about the era. One is about canoes on your High River, the Native Americans being there. There were originally 30 some of those, there's only 4
Oh.
left.
Wow.
There's 2 out in Verona and our 2 in that.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's kind of like the signage program that Michael Baker was suggesting would be similar to that, where there's a consistent signage all along the boulevard that kind of like ties the communities together. I think that's so cool. That,
Well, especially historic significance. I
Yeah, it was, I mean, it names the commissioners who were there. It shows Beaver, which is, you know,
Yeah.
so far away, but it's, state really helped out by moving those.
Oh, great,
saving them.
great. Okay, anything else on the Route 65 project?
No, so I'll just send that email out. So those that have nominated, volunteered, we'll go ahead and kick it off and hopefully get some updates for us for the April 20th meeting.
Okay, we're down to 12 now. Concerns of delegates. Do you want to go through the roll call list and
Sure. Art, do you have anything for the group today?
Not really.
Okay.
Not this time anyway.
Roberta, anything in Avalon?
I'm sorry, no, I don't have anything right now.
No worries. Rick, anything in Ben Avenue you want to bring to the group's attention? Paul, anything at Emsworth? Barbara?
yes, I do.
All right.
It came out from our council. We're looking at, we are having a great deal of problem with the deer, and I know we've talked about this in other municipalities, but in our municipality, it was amazing because Glen Osborne, of course, is a residential, but we have a lot of woods surrounding us. And it is not only the deer destructiveness, but the deer we're finding also carry COVID. And they're not sure whether you could get COVID from the deer or not. They also we have concern with Lyme disease. And it was amazing at our table council, when we talked about it, over half of the people sitting there have had Lyme disease. And I know Fern Hollow, the camps that we have up there, ticks are a problem.
Yep.
Little ticks are a problem. Our public works person has had Lyme's disease twice. We have children down at Glen Osborne School that have had Lyme's disease. So not only are they destructive, but they're also dangerous crossing the road. We've had accidents by deer. I mean, I like to see the deer, but
Do you want to do hunts?
that's what we're looking at doing. And what they said to do is each municipality, when Jimmy Cohen is the person that is ahead of this from Glen Osborne. And he contacted the Game Commission and also Pennsylvania, that's in charge of the deer. And each municipality should come up with a plan. And that plan can goes directly to Harrisburg. But in talking with them, if we can get neighboring municipalities that have the same problem as we do, and that's why council asked me to bring it up tonight, to see if there are neighboring communities that are having problem with the deer or ticks, or, I mean, for us, I think they do eat plants
Oh,
and
yeah,
flowering
they
things.
destroy everything.
They do. But also, I think for the safety of our residents with the tick population and now knowing that they have COVID and they're not sure.
Just so you know, it would be a very emotional and controversial.
I'm sure it is.
proposal. mean,
It
if you-
is for us
If you've
too.
followed Mount Lebanon, which I've
Yeah,
Yeah,
done for years, it is, I mean, just be
Yeah.
aware that it's not gonna just be all in favor, aye.
oh,
Well,
I am
you're gonna-
sure.
It's-
Yes, I do know that.
It's a hot button, it's a hot button.
I do know that, but,
this came up last year in
Oh, I
Sewickley.
can,
There, a
yeah.
resident
Good
came
case.
to complain about this. And one of the, I thought, interesting points from that discussion was that there were a lot of property owners in Sewickley Heights that banned hunting on their property. And so the deer population was like out of control because in those areas, hunters weren't allowed to go onto those properties. So I think they just like come down the hills.
yeah.
I don't notice them where I live any, we used to have herds of them up there, but last 5 or so years, it's just hardly, we used to see them out in the backyard all the time. This is just anecdotal, but I don't see them anymore. I used to have deer waste in my backyard. I'd have to go clean it up before the grandchildren came, because it'd be all over the
Yeah.
place and I don't notice it anymore. I don't know why. They don't seem to be, maybe it's just spots where they go.
I think they said deer
I
don't
notice-
travel very
I
far.
don't
They're not.
notice the plant damage like we used to have. in the
Yeah.
last-
Well, there's
Bucks-
also
bucks
wasting
do
disease,
more
so
than
they're,
Right, they're unwell.
they're
When
not
you see
well.
them, they don't look well.
Chronic wasting disease,
Yeah.
all that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and which, is a problem also.
Yep.
Is a big problem. So anyways, Glenn Osborne is looking at this. If people would like to contact us to see if any other municipalities would be interested, it's certainly something that was brought up by residents in our council meeting. And we're looking at it, we're reviewing it now.
Yeah, because
They're talking about archery hunting or.
We're looking at, yes, probably archery, like
Yeah,
Swiftly
you-
Heights does,
you can't really do
Right.
but there's a
Any-
lot,
ammo fired,
no,
not around you guys.
no. Anyways, that was from Glenn Osborne.
Amy, anything in Hayesville you wanted to bring to the group?
Yes, I hate to add on a long meeting, but just real quickly, we've been having a lot of issue with train tracks. So we have a number of residents that live across a single entry point. The area of Hayesville and Glen Osborne that runs along 65 and the railroad tracks. They share a single point of entry that goes across the Norfolk Southern rail line. So within the last month, we have had a couple of incidences. One where a train stopped at 3 a.m. and was there till about 10:30 a.m. So quite a significant period of time. We called it in, everything else, the cars wouldn't move. We had confirmed incidences of kids crawling across the railroad tracks to get to their school bus. We have a number of businesses across the tracks that the employees couldn't get to, people going to work couldn't get out, et cetera, et cetera. And then about a week later, we had another incident, which was only for about 2 hours, but it was still long enough, timing terrible, right about when kids were getting dropped off from school and couldn't get back home. So we've contacted Valerie Gatos about it, and we've been working with Glenn Osborne and Glenfield. We're going to kind of revisit the conversation about alternative entryways, maybe only in emergencies, maybe long-term, but just start to bring that up again with the help of COG and Patrick to talk about, what we might be able to do for those residents, because we have a great safety concern. Yes.
Why can't you open the road from Glenfield Viaduct down to Hayesville?
There's no road.
I know, I
But there's
know.
a cutoff there. I mean, one of the suggestions is, in an emergency, could we use the train road
Yeah,
that is there?
exactly. So in
Another-
between the tracks. Yeah.
And
But
then Amy, I did talk with Coast Guard, and I have that information. For you, they're willing to work with us to see if we could work something out, because you could go under the bridge and the Coast Guard station is right there and make a left.
Yeah.
But that road doesn't go all the way
I
down
know.
to that part of Glen Osborne.
Yeah,
But-
neither of the roads go all the way down. And in this case, the train track, the longer period, it was the inner track. So there would be no way to get to that road that runs between the railroads. So there's no existing road either way.
Yeah,
If that answers your question.
yeah.
But the
I
Coast
thought
Guard
that-
did say they would be willing to work with us. I mean, part of it is getting a fire vehicle down there or an
Mhm.
ambulance. I mean,
Yeah,
we've had people with a heart attack. cross
Right,
exactly.
that's why
And we
you
can't get
have to
across
have
the-
some access.
yeah,
They need
that's
another one.
our concern. We have a lot of older residents. I mean, it's a real concern for us. That's a long stretch of time to not have people in or out. And
Yes.
there'd be no way to get them moved if we had an emergency. So
Unless you have a helicopter.
yeah,
Oh,
exactly. Riverboat access
so-
maybe, but that's probably not happening.
Has
Yeah.
anyone
Yeah.
contacted, has anyone contacted the legal department of the railroad
Art,
about
Art,
Turn it up.
Art, would you?
I'm muted.
Your microphone up a little bit, we can't quite hear you.
Am I on?
I think you're on,
can
Art,
hear you,
but
but
you're
not
just
very
real
well.
low. Yeah.
Okay. I was involved in an incident like this, not in this area, it was up in Boston. But it was a very serious situation and it went on for quite a long time. And finally, one of our people just had it and they contacted the legal department of the railroad and explained to them what was going on and what the responses were and the conditions were. And it was amazing how fast those blockage situations disappeared. So they went beyond the operating people, went to the legal department.
Thank you, Art. That's a good suggestion.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Art.
it definitely is. I think ultimately we still need another point of access because I think in this case, the train broke down. I think it actually blew out its engine from what we've heard. So it probably, they really didn't have an option. It wasn't necessarily the fault of the railroad. It was just really poor timing and poor, placement. But that's a great point, Art. Thank you.
All right, Killbuck Township, John Sebastian, anything you wanted to bring to the group?
Sorry, no, nothing to report.
Leet Township, Marty?
I wanted to ask about, we had we talked previously about the reapportionment. And where do we stand on that now, Patrick? I think something was finally approved. Where's the cog in terms of our representatives, our state representatives, our state senators, our congressmen,
We're 17.
So it's a mix. We had, I think, 3 before, state reps, and now we still have 3. The boundaries may have changed a little bit. I can get this to the group. I haven't really prepared that, but I know I brought up before, and we still have 2 senators.
Quaker Valley is all in one now,
Yes.
right?
That,
Yes,
yes.
it is.
Because we used to be in with Matsy and Beaver County, and I think Fleet still was too. Weren't they?
Yeah, so the school district is in one,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the cog itself is still
but
segmented.
still the
between a couple.
North boroughs have 2 more maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we have 4. We have 4 reps actually,
Okay.
total. Because you guys have Beaver County kind of bleeds over into Leet
No,
and Leet
Not
still.
anymore.
Not anymore?
No,
New one?
we're all,
Okay.
I think we're all with Gatos now.
I think
Yes,
you are
we
too.
are.
Okay.
We-
You stand
are.
corrected.
Yeah. no,
Yeah.
So that's a change.
right.
Yeah.
And
Could-
then how about?
Could you
our-
send out the representative just as a
Yeah,
FYI for the communities?
Yeah, but that's good tomorrow. Okay, Jeff, anything?
Just looking, trying to find a code enforcement officer that we can,
Did you guys have a chance that email I sent you?
they talked about it, but we still, I don't know why they didn't move on it, but
We have the perfect person to testify on that. So Paul is very familiar with the program. It's something that's open to any QB member community. It's sort of similar to the GIS program.
how expensive is
It's, I think, he charges $125 retainer per month.
it?
And then he just charges you per hour. I'll have to get you the number per hour, but his name's Anthony Asciola.
Yeah, I'd like that information.
And basically, he is a North Strabane Township employee, but he moonlights for us as well for code enforcement and building enforcement. So Emsworth Borough is pretty much our perfect case study for that. We've been trying to
Is
promote
it
this over the
for
years, but
also building permits?
yes.
Yeah, I'd like that information. We're
Yeah.
doing that same thing.
So, I can't, I'm not the one that's gonna be able to explain it to you
No,
as
no,
well
no,
as,
no, no.
I'd be happy to
Give
set the
me
call up.
Contract.
I can give you guys numbers of it, more or
Yeah.
less, it's a 10% markup from whatever he charges because we do all the payments. We make everything happen for you guys. So it's hands-free. He shows up to your town, testifies for meetings you need him to, writes up the permits. That's it. It's all out of here. So Paul, did you want to give a quick summary real quick on the Anthony and the code enforcement program?
Yeah, sure. I'm sorry, I stepped out right when that was coming out. Anthony comes in, he does our code enforcement, and the residents call the borough office determines whether there's justifiable reason to send in. She notifies Kathy through, what's that, City Grows. Informs Anthony, he does a ride by, takes pictures.
So this is property maintenance.
Yeah,
This isn't building code, and this isn't a building code official that issues building permits.
no.
Okay.
We have not found an agency that is a group that does building code, new building construction remodel. We haven't found a company. We've been through all of them.
Yeah.
At one end, I'm not gonna mention names, I'm just telling you, we've been through them all.
They self-destructed.
We've been through them all, so Anthony does code enforcement, and then we also have Chris Rarick that does the zoning enforcement for us, and he saved us probably 3 different times in his knowledge of zoning. The people have challenged.
Is
the
he
borough.
with this
Yep.
Anthony?
Well, it's
Okay.
a different program but through us.
Okay, he's like the zoning officer and Anthony is
Code
the
enforcement.
property, okay, and then you still need the other person.
Yeah, you need a third-party
Yeah,
inspection
right,
agency,
right.
but Chris, as far as zoning, is so knowledgeable, I can't get over, and we just recently had a property challenge, that
Okay.
wanted to put a
Yeah,
driveway
I
out
like
the
that.
front instead of the back, and he pulled a letter together that was very clear to
So
say. no.
nobody knows anybody that's any good on this, on building code official.
Got a question. Can he do it more
company
proactive
we
instead
use
of
is very
complaint
expensive.
based?
However
We
you want
have
to set
a-
it
we
up
have
with
a
them, yeah,
third
we
party,
just do
but
it.
they're
It was
so
originally
expensive.
set
We're
up to
trying
be
to- We're
proactive.
trying to look for a
Originally,
full-time person.
Susan set up that we used the interns one year and then went through and rated all the properties in the borough, and then set up to decide whether or not who we would go after, because if we cherry pick some, we
Yeah,
could
you
be
can't do
accused.
that.
Yeah, you can't, so
We use.
we originally set it up to do
He is the building guy.
active code enforcement. The borough fell through and just said, no, we don't want to go down that road.
Is he an independent?
But you can't, I
Yes,
mean,
you
that's
can.
what he does, so he
I know.
works full-time for another municipality, but he finds the time and he's been there for us, so he's done a great job.
How often do you get him usually?
I don't actually keep track of it, I'll be truthful, it goes to Kathy, she takes care of it, she only brings it to my attention when it becomes a problem.
Oh,
And the key to that is we'll set up a meeting. It's free. You just want to have the
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah.
You want to ask about the program. Let's get together and set up that Zoom call, take 15 minutes, and hopefully get some more clarity as for anyone on Zoom call, anyone in person. So if you guys are interested, I'd be happy to set that call up, Lead Township and Leedsdale Borough and anyone else.
That's what we do.
So
That
I'll start
yeah,
with the
that's
call.
part of it, just for me, it's really experience, if you want me there.
Yeah.
fine.
And
I'm just
Emsworth
offering
Borough
to
Right,
say,
we're paying that.
We're a
too.
satisfied
It's crazy.
customer,
You
it's
should
worked
see
well
our
for us.
bills. It's crazy.
Yeah, we want somebody that's proactive because.
All right, anyone
nobody
else?
wants to-
And, are we
Yeah,
finished?
Julie Borough, you're up, Julie.
I just wanted to let everybody know that we have a bunch of people going to the ALOM conference from Swickley.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so we have Donna, our borough manager, George, the mayor, I'm going, and another councilman is going. So we'll see how that is. I think
Okay,
it's like
behave.
a
Don't get
first
in-
for
Don't get in trouble up there. I
I
hear,
know.
I
We
hear it's
have
kind of
quite a few
wild.
going too.
I mean, that's what conferences are like.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
You
It's
have a
it's
few
good
going?
conference.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that, and
I
I'm
was
curious
gonna
if
go,
anyone
but
else is
I
going.
ended up canceling. I had something come up.
Okay. And you're gonna go.
I'll be there.
Are you going, Barbara?
I don't even know when it is.
It's April 7th through the 10th, but you don't have to go the whole time. You can sign up for just one day or the whole thing.
I'm just
or-
doing Friday and Saturday.
I will be in Key West, so.
Oh,
I'd rather be in
wow,
Key
that's
West.
nice.
I'll go with you. I'll
Okay,
go with you.
Sorry. Okay,
I think that's it.
anything else to?
No, that's all.
Okay,
8:39.
Motion to
okay,
adjourn.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Anybody second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by
Aye.
saying aye.
Hi.
Thank you, everybody,
Okay,
for
good.
attending. This was one of our best
Yeah.
attended meetings this year, so
Yeah.
thank you very much. Hope to see you all next month. Big things ahead. So have a great day and let me know if anything pops up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Thanks.
Bye.
Night. Bye.